Hello, everyone. Welcome to Module 6. So, in case anyone gets confused when they open the recording, we are talking about, Module 6, Week 6. Module 6 actually has 4 different topics in it. This is one of them, governance in blockchain. We'll be going into DeFi next week and NFTs the week after. Talking about governance in blockchain. We're in the specialized topics in blockchain module. So each of the other weeks kind of were like one module per week. The purpose for this was that they were very simple modules, and that in the future they might end up having more weeks to them. But currently, they only needed 1 week to get over through the topic. And based on like your guys' feedback at the end of the course, maybe we'll add another week to some of those topics. But for specialized topics, we wanted to make sure we can cover a majority, like a multitude of them, or multiple of them. And that's the purpose. So I'm going to be kind of leading and facilitating. I have to change this to facilitator. It's just kind of been a habit to say instructor. But our guest speaker is going to be Alan from mpDAO. So very excited to have you here, Alan. I'll be quiet in not too long from now, maybe like 5-10 minutes. And then it'd be great to kind of dig into maybe a little backstory about you, backstory about metapool, where it came from if people don't know. And then we can get into kind of how we can engage in metapool's governance and kind of what's happening there. But the call lasts for about an hour, so we're about 8 minutes in. And talk is on Telegram, and we have some learning objectives. Basically to provide an in-depth understanding of governance models within the blockchain ecosystem, not just near. And the session aims to illustrate how governance functions in decentralized organizations, obviously focus on metapool DAO as a case study. So there's some previous modules you can check out here. And we are in, so I took a bit long, my bad, with the intro. But I did a bit of like previous coursework as well from last week. But then the idea was to kind of dig into what other governance ecosystems exist out there. Like, what is governance? We keep using this word more and more, and I'm actually happy for it. Yeah, the idea of DAOs being the future of Web3 didn't make much sense to me, but governance in general and how we govern these systems that we care a lot about, probably pretty important. We have systems all the time we care about. We have road systems, we have library systems, we have school systems all around us, and we generally want to have ways to govern these things and make sure they're run appropriately. So in the blockchain ecosystem, I know we don't talk about tokens and twice as much in this class. We are going to have a DeFi class again next week, but generally straying away from price discussions. But price is a large part of crypto. People are generally trading, buying, selling, talking about price, talking about the story of prices. So if you look at Bitcoin, for example, again, loading all this data, and the data, the price of Bitcoin does tell a story right away, right? If you look at the price for such a long, I mean, these are like, okay, well, I guess this is better. But the price for such a long time being like a few cents, to being a few dollars. And then, I mean, there's some of these peaks that are like kind of, these are actually way into the future. But some of these peaks where the price went to like, $1,000, right? And then back down to like 100 for a very, very long time. And that kind of might tell a story for some people that are very new to the ecosystem of, okay, well, when the price goes from a few cents to a few dollars or $100 and comes back down, or $1,000 and comes back down multiple times, this is something that's happened before. Maybe that's a story that could, support certain people or, help people in their decision making. And so all of these tokens all have their own price stories to them. They all have their own communities to them, though. They all have their own builders. They all have their own consensus mechanisms. So how they choose which block is going to be next, right? These are blockchains generally. And so we have Near on here as well. I think around 30 something. 36. We have Near. Apparently doing pretty well recently. That's good. But the idea is, as we govern these chains, we have some like more technological ways of governing our chains. So, in the kind of the older generation chains, like Bitcoin, for example, everything's governed by nodes, right? People take software for Bitcoin, put it on their computers, They run this software, they try and solve the math problem and earn some Bitcoin. And if enough of these computers decide to upgrade their software and use a newer version of it, they can change the rules of Bitcoin, right? And that's why we have like forks of chains, because these computers, these nodes, couldn't agree on their governance. And so the chain will fork. And so you have Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, and you have Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. Then you have just other chains in general. So back in the Cambrian explosion, I think we might even still be in the Cambrian explosion of blockchains era. But just the idea that everyone has their own way of doing things, everyone has their own way of doing governance. And so everyone might need their own blockchain, right? I mean, back, we have Binance Chain creating their own chain. We have Solana doing like proof of time or something like that. Like trying to have the fastest blockchain out there. You have Dogecoin at 9th, trying to be like a fun or a funny, maybe just like easy to use. Anyone can get involved blockchain. But there you go. That's their governance, and that seems to work. And now, I guess, in the newer age of blockchains, we're trying out some interesting things in governance. And I guess, I tried to also just bring up defillama. I'll drop defillama just as a way to also show that it's not just about, let me make sure I actually get the link. It's not just about the value of the blockchains and how they're governed and the technology behind the nodes. It's also about the tokens and the value that exists on that chain. So Lido, they're I guess a competitor to metapool, I guess, in some ways, right? They do liquid staking in a similar way. They do it for Ethereum, like only from my understanding, and on multiple chains. So you can see, okay, they're launched on Ethereum, Solana, Moonbeam, Moonriver, and I guess Terra Classic. Is Terra still a thing? Oh my gosh, cool. But you can see there's $15 billion of ST ETH, right, out there in existence. They take in some fees. They've made this much revenue in the past 24 hours. And that's actually pretty cool seeing some of that. But these are actually ecosystems that are living and built on top of blockchains that are actually earning revenue. They make money. They employ people. So you can almost see this like the blockchain is like the country, right, with their own tax system, their own revenue system, monetary code, and the way they run. Road systems, right? They have to be governed in some way because you have these large companies that are employing people and supporting the ecosystem in many ways that are built on top of it. And that's just DeFi. There's also NFTs and gaming, like we're going to talk about. But this is just kind of one way of thinking about how blockchains work. And then just quickly going into, this is a community-built platform, which is why I like to share it for the NDC. So in Near, we do have the Near core, which is the software that runs to update the nodes. And we have hundreds of, not hundreds, well, over 100 nodes that run this software. And they vote on which blocks are next and all this fun stuff and which transactions are going to go through. But there's also trying to govern the treasury. And so that's kind of where I think this new age of governance has become. Where, okay, if these countries, these blockchains are successful and they attract lots of businesses, right? Let's say DeFi applications, gaming applications, NFT applications, then potentially these applications will accrue value and lead to a treasury being grown within the ecosystem. Just like countries take taxes of a certain sort, Near has like a 0.5% tax pretty much on a Near tokens that are generated every epoch, every 12 hours. So as more Near tokens are generated, some go towards like a protocol treasury, and potentially this could be governed by, supposed to be governed by the community in some way, and potentially might be governed by the NDC. That's again a story. You can kind of dig into the data from like the chain of near, and then like the DeFi that's on near, and like how much revenue might be built, and then take the story of the NDC now. Yeah, sounds good. Oh, that's so awesome that you'll be in Lisbon, by the way. I just saw that. Um, oh, yeah. So feel free to send again. So feel free to send those topics in the public chat so everyone else can see them. But it was a question. Actually, I'm just going to forward it if that's all right with everyone, just so that it's clear and other people might not say the same question. But the question was about being a student after the great topic actually, because it's right here, verifying as a human. So we're going to talk about some DAOs soon from Ethereum that actually do a completely different mode of operations. But in Near, for their protocol distribution, they kind of decided to go a direction where as long as you were human, you were able to kind of verify your humanity, join the ecosystem, take part in voting. We did use this verify as a human flow for the course, for becoming a student officially as part of the course of being a researcher in the DAO, the Research Collective DAO. After the election, the technical working group was supposed to reopen I Am Human. The House of Merit is still discussing what the civil resistance flow will be for the next election. So civil resistance just means a way to verify humanity, like someone's unique. And so we're not sure we're going to be still using Fractal I Am Human. So yeah, no worries. Still claim the NFT from Shardog. Still registered to be part of the DAO. I'll try and get a direct answer shortly about like, are we just going to open up? The NDC has to pay per human, like as registered. I think it's like $5 or $2, something like that. And so it's just a decision if the House of Merit wants to continue. We don't want it to kind of disrupt our flow. And so if you're like trying to join the DAO and you've tried to verify as a human and you can't, maybe we'll just get on a call with you or something like that and have you show your face. I don't know, and like drop an NFT. Oh, you deleted your I Am Human and they had a tech issue and then they can't fix it because tech working group is spinning down. I get it. Yeah. So yeah, it's a one-off case, and we have seen you on camera. So, in my opinion, if there's any issues getting you on the DAO or anything like that, I think you're already on. No worries. Yeah, no issues there. We know you. And
you know that I am a person.
yes. Like the only use case for it is to make sure that you're a real person. If this group grows really large, it might be very difficult to kind of tell. But yes, if you're a human, we verify this. Okay, and then Ewan sharing some wisdom and insights. But yes, tech work, like there's a lot of changes happening right now. I understand. Anyways, a lot of great links here, trying to learn more about the NDC. Some of these links are outdated, like office hours and stuff like that. There was a Both gateway in the works, but again, that's not the purpose of this talk. It's just to show that most people here should know about how the NDC did things, and that was one way, verifying humanity. Now, you have kind of everything else, which is kind of the way I like to kind of word. Near is kind of its own island, which for better or worse, I think it's kind of very unique being an island where everyone knows each other and everyone has to support each other. And if you kind of don't support people around you, you might be alienated and just kind of starve and die because you can't get the resources you need. But when everyone does come together, you can get some pretty powerful ecosystems. But anyways, everything else is kind of connected to Ethereum a little more closely than Near is. The EVM kind of ecosystem. And from my understanding, Metapool is also launched on Ethereum as well, which is pretty cool. So there's over $10 billion in assets being managed or governed in some way in these DAOs, over $100 million transferred, over 5,000 proposals. So actually we have a lot of hate. One thing Near DAOs do have is a lot of proposals and a lot of funds transferred. So this list is pretty cool. Actually, let's get to Explore DAOs. The list is pretty cool on the Ethereum side of things, but when you go through the Near side of what happens over there, it's pretty amazing as well. So again, we haven't really seen much yet about what's happening with the NDC. Actually, I can share. The House of Merit has a couple of votes in. One of them I did vote for. So there's a vote in currently for the House of Merit to Creatives DAO and Marketing DAO for the month of October. I voted on one of them, not the other one, but you can kind of see how the NDC and how Near plans on, or this is very rough, so don't, so for example, House of Merit support this. This is the funding request, total votes, abstain. If you want, you can comment, you could share it. So I'll try and use this share button. Ooh, fancy. And I will share that in the chat. And then you have Tally, where we can maybe, let's just kind of, instead of talking about it too much, let's just dig into one of them. So Uniswap is a pretty large DeFi protocol, similar like Ref Finance, for example. So you could imagine Ref Finance having a proposal to, they want to deploy on a new chain, for example, right? So this is the proposal, deploying Uniswap v3 on Scroll, which is a blockchain. And so if you go to cryptocurrencies, you can look at, Scroll and they don't have a coin yet, I don't think. Wait, don't they? Yes, they do. Maybe they don't have a token yet. Totally could not, but they still have a chain. Maybe they're on testnet only. I thought they were fully launched. I don't keep up with Ethereum or L2s, so it doesn't even matter. The point is, there's a vote, and 4 addresses have taken part so far with 3.8 million votes. So let's look into it a bit more, and we can see what's going on. So the quorum has not been met, it seems. So they did a temperature check. That's pretty cool. They have a point of contact for who you can reach out to, an overview of the proposal. Okay, I know what Scroll is, but I don't know where to find information about like their token. Maybe there is no token yet, which would be awesome. I like when pages launch with no tokens right away. Anyways, they have success criteria. There must be a token though if it's going to be launched on mainnet. So, but they have all the factory contracts and everything like that. So generally in these types of proposals, the details can be very important because a lot of times they're actually on-chain proposals. So a lot of times they'll actually outline the proposals, things to upgrade, and yeah, you could actually, this is easier, see the contract address and see what's going on. So let's see. Yeah, this is Scroll. Very fun. That's not it. So Michigan Blockchain Club, I guess, voted. And you can see who they are. So Michigan Blockchain, they have 3.85 million voting power. So in the Ethereum instance, a lot of times they're using delegates. So what will happen is, so you can imagine your local student organization having a blockchain club. You can imagine being very reputable in doing a lot of research for various blockchains. And you can imagine if they all need to choose who's going to govern the future of their ecosystem and the future of their fund distribution, like how we have in the NDC, you can imagine everyday people delegating their tokens to these students and being like, hey, well, if you guys are doing research all day about blockchains and you guys are studying and learning, and why not you guys take part? And so you can kind of see how what they've voted on and what they've not voted on, and kind of what they've proposed, which is pretty crazy. Deploy on Filecoin virtual machine. Oh, they actually seem to propose lots of deployments. And grants programs that have actually gotten. So you can see how like this Michigan Blockchain Club has proposed for a grant program and it got executed with 60 million votes. So it's pretty cool flow to be able to see. And the one more thing I did want to talk about before I moved on to the wonderful Alan was certain ecosystems which are actually very similar to Metapool's voting ecosystem with Meta, like Optimism, for example, where as you vote in the Optimism ecosystem, you get tokens back, and so some sort of funding for taking part. So like they have like earned play to earn in gaming, they have learn to earn in learning, and in Optimism and some other ecosystems like the Metapool ecosystem, they have like vote to earn or participate to earn, which is a pretty interesting ecosystem. So you can kind of read through what's happening there. And so I will make sure I share the tally links, the Explore link. You can go through yourselves. We will be moving on to the wonderful Alan from Metapool. And yeah, honestly, feel free to take us through who you are, what you've been doing with Metapool, what is Metapool, and we can people can have questions and type them in or ask them as they feel free.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for the invitation for us for participating with on this course of research among new. So, first of all, thank you very much for spending your time with us, learning about how is the thing going around the governance on Web3, and specifically what we are doing on governance for the Metapool DAO, what we call now mpDAO. I'm Alan. I have been participating inside of the NIR ecosystem since the beginning of 2021. And I participated with NIR Hispano. I collaborated with a couple of projects. We ran several projects of education. I also participated on the launchment, and since then on the Metapool project for liquid staking. And well, I have been enthusiast of Web3 since 2016. So it has been a fun journey all over these years. Sometimes more active than others, but at the end, always looking what is happening on this ecosystem. Well, since 2021, participating full time on this ecosystem. So today we are going to talk about the governance on Web3, and I think this is something that you have already looked on its different models that can have any governance of Web3 as the same as the countries and any region of the world that they are building the best models for governance on democracies or in the system of or in the governance model they have for running the government on their countries. The same on Web3, we have a different and a very wide range of models on how governance is looking to be made on Web3. So some things can be similar to other governance models. Some things can be a radical change on how governance is being run on Metapool, and I think this is interesting about talking on this topic. Metapool is basically a liquid staking protocol, and we are what we do is we deliver liquid staking tokens to the community that stake their tokens with us, and we help them accruing the staking rewards on these liquid staking tokens. The first token that we launched was the Estrada token. Estrada token was the first liquid staking token on NIR, the first liquid staking token of Metapool, and this basically implies that we are receiving NIR tokens from the community and distributing all these tokens among the validators nodes that are active on the ecosystem, and having that in mind, we are accruing rewards that are being distributed on the price of liquid staking tokens. So in a simple idea, you can have a token that is representing the staking rewards, and it's always increasing its price compared to the native token that you can find in the ecosystem. How it is done? Basically, the users have their tokens. They do a stake with those, and they make a deposit of the token that they are interested to make liquid staking. They go to a smart contract run by metapool. Metapool gives you a collateral. In this case, we have the example of the MPF. You take your Ethereum or deposit on this metapool smart contracts, and you receive your MPF that you will have available on your wallet. At the same time, the metapool smart contracts delegate these tokens to validators. That helps in two important things. The first one is to secure all the transactions happening on the network. And the second one is generating rewards for the people that is delegating tokens on these validators. In this case, the metapool smart contracts are taking all these rewards and are being accrued on the liquid staking token that you received previously. So this is basically the idea behind liquid stake. What do we have right now? We have 3 tokens that are currently launched. The first one is MPF, the second one is Estrada, and the third one is STR. Based on the last adjustment, MPF APY it's around today is approximately 8%. Estrada is approximately the same 8%, and STR is around 60%. But these amounts can be adjusted on the time accordingly to the amount of rewards that are being generated by the validator. So that's something that you should have in mind. These APYs, as you know, can change all over the time because the rewards that the validators or the network produces are dynamic, are not static. So this can be moving around. But basically, if you want a general rule specifically for MPF and Estrada, MPF at the end of the time, based on the APY of the Ethereum network, have an APY of 3 to 5%, and Estrada have an APY that is decreasing over the time, and it's right now on 8%, and in time can get a lower reward. Which is our vision, and this is something that is important and have to talk about this. We want to enable proof of stake on protocols to be decentralized and capital efficient. This means that instead, and I want to go back a bit here in this part. In fact, liquid staking is not required for doing staking. The users can come directly, take their tokens, and stake their tokens on the validators. That's simple, and that's the traditional way, and that's even what the metapool smart contracts do. But the main difference that we have with that is that if you go directly and you stake your tokens on any validator, you will not receive any collateral, so your tokens are locked. You are not able to use your tokens anymore. You cannot use you can use this collateral to receive a borrow or lending. You can use it for liquidity, for providing liquidity on a pool on a centralized exchange, for swap, for other token if you require to, if you need to have liquidity at any moment. So that's something that you cannot do if you go and you directly stake on a validator. So that's why we say that we want to enable protocols to be decentralized and capital efficient, because it is a better way on which the networks can move their economies around their proof of stake protocols. Also, we want, and this is something very, very aimed on the inside of the core team, we want to increase the proof of stake blockchain adoptions for ecosystem in developing countries. We have a target that is in 3 regions specifically. First is the Asia Pacific region to become a leader on liquid staking over there. Africa is another of our target, and the tier 1 is all this region around LATAM that can help all these countries to be active. And basically, none of the big economies, none of the big countries with big economies, we don't consider that is something of value for those countries. Well, they can participate, they are not restricted. But we think that emerging countries can be the most benefit, the ones that receive the major benefit from participating on liquid staking. Our mission is to liberate millions of ONIR, Aurora, and Ethereum that are currently not staked and allowed to flow into the ecosystem. And also, we want to become a source of growth for NIR, Aurora, and liquid staking tokens in all these regions that I mentioned previously. On all the previous, the question, and I think that maybe you invited me to talk about governance, and I start talking about liquid staking, like a commercial for us. But here the question that can link all these previous topics is who managed all of this? Who is the one in charge of defining which is the amount of fees that this metapool taking from the user, which is the lock period that the user should take, which is the next network on which metapool should participate. If we find a better way to do liquid staking, who is the one who can take that decision to make the things in one way or another? And that's the main point of creating governance for metapool. Why we have two main things happening. The first one is we have core design decisions that we need to ask the community of the metapool's DAO. And the second one is we are taking and we are generating a treasury from the budgets, from the fees that are covered by metapool. So which is the destiny of these funds, and that's something that has to be decided by the metapool DAO. So basically, right now we have this governance model that it's explained on a general vision over here. So since 2021, we launched a governance token that is the meta token, and that what has been distributed among several mechanisms to the community. This includes the people that provide liquidity of meta and estimated inside the centralized exchange receive meta tokens. The people that participated on the first days of liquid staking receive also meta tokens with big multipliers. The people that has been participating on activation for the community also receive meta tokens. And at the end, is the community the one that is receiving the major amount of meta tokens in metapool. These meta token holders are the most important stakeholders for the mpDAO governance that is currently having three models of governance three tools of governance that are available for the community. I will start by the last one, that is changing and improving the protocols. We recently launched the metapool improvement proposal that is already active and started with a couple of MPIPs that were already bought and approved. We can look about a bit around that just to show how it's working. And also, this is basically a way in which we can change the way on how metapool is working, change on smart contracts, change on fees, change on everything happens through the approval of metapool improvement proposals. Second one, I will mention the distribution of funds. mpDAO, we created mpDAO grants. We will talk a bit later about how this model started, but we are right now distributing like this model of micro grants that distribute all all the fees that are generated on the protocol, and that it's around something close to $2,000 to $3,000. So that I suggest to communities that are interested to participate on mpDAO grants that request an amount that can go around $300 to $1,000. So that can be easily approved, and you can receive these funds to make like micro programs for your community. And tier one, we also distributed staking through governance. This is specifically on NIR, and this means that you can go to our site, you can choose which are the better validators that you are interested to vote and receive an extra delegation. This was like a premier product for the community of NIR, because before of this, there was a lot of validators that asked us for help to getting extra delegations. So even we made the first metapool improvement proposals decided to move the amount that was being delegated through governance-based delegation from 15 to 25%. And this was approved by the community, and is now the way that it is happening. This was the way on which metapool governance V01 worked from June to September on 2023. And this basically have two things. We take all the protocol fees that were generated on NIR, and we buy back meta tokens from the market, and we made a treasury that was based on meta, and we allocated monthly the 50% of these meta tokens acquired by the buyback to be put on. I will start right here. This went to community representatives or to communities that were interested to present a grant. At this time, we didn't mention here as a grant that was renamed later, but we give it. We give all this 50% to the communities. We had a total of 6 communities that were funded using this model, and this became really interesting because it was the first time that we made something similar to this, and also was one of the first protocols on NIR protocol that started distributing all their fees to the community. So, so far so good. Was a good experiment from June to September, and we adjusted things to move into the V02 that what is happening right now. The other 50%, and this is something that I haven't seen in any other protocol, but you can tell me if I'm wrong. But we are distributing the other 50%, that is around $2,000 to $3,000 monthly, to the people that is voting. So if you are participating on the mpDAO, that you can do it by sticking your meta tokens, you'll receive this 50% of the staking rewards of the staking fee. Basically, we started during the first month with an APY of close to 90%. The last month of September, we had an APY that is around 40% for the people that is looking for 300 days their meta tokens, and that results on a very good options of the community, because well, I don't know who else, but you can tell me if there is someone else, but nobody is right now paying you for voting. So we are paying you for voting from the same fees that we are generating. The mpDAO governance on its version 0.2, basically we explain how are things happening on this graph. At the beginning of metapool on 2021, we started working on NIR protocol, and NIR protocol allow us to know all the people that help us to grow and to become what this metapool is today. But we are not blind to all the things that are happening around on the ecosystem, and we started launching liquid staking tokens for other communities and protocols that have that are willing to have liquid staking solutions. We started with Aurora, that is in the neighborhood of NIR protocol. That's as a layer 2. And we launched the first native liquid staking tokens on Aurora. And later, we also launched on Ethereum that allows the biggest community and the biggest liquidity to access to liquid staking on metapool. When we are talking about this, you can remember that we launched Meta token, and Meta token was launched on NIR protocol. But right now that we are on more chains, now became an interesting challenge that we are currently facing on how to make a multi-chain governance. A multi-chain governance that have presence on or can define the future of liquid staking solutions running on multiple chains, and also having and supporting the community that's participating on the mpDAO. So that's like a general idea and some thoughts that I have right now, and as I am right now leading I'm advocating the governance on metapool. So we have here four things that are happening among the networks. The first is we have liquid staking services on NIR protocol, on Ethereum and Aurora, and more coming soon. We have fees distribution mechanisms that are happening right now on mpDAO rounds and Gitcoin rounds, and we are still on TBD for STR on Aurora network. And we have delegation for validators that is active on NIR protocol, that is currently active on the site. Even all these green ones are the ones that are right now active. Delegation for validators on Ethereum is still TBD. On Aurora, it didn't apply because they don't have validators. They use the same validators as NIR protocol, so it's basically this one. And on the coming one will be TBD. And for the changes and improvements to the protocol, we right now started on NIR protocol that is basically defining everything that we are doing right now. That is metapool improvement proposals that you can look on our site. Also, we have our global community that supports us to push this around the world. That is the Metapool Ambassadors Program that we'll talk a bit more later. The more resources we have, and you can see here the protocol fees, we have a team of ambassadors and communities that is making presenting proposals and application for the mpDAO grants. They request money from the protocol fees, and this is looking for increase for support the amount of meta token holders that are happening on the ecosystem. Also, the token holders can vote on the proposals to decide who is receiving the funds from the mpDAO grants program. So the more resources we have is also the more resources we distribute. So having more ambassadors, having more partners, having more voters, we can start growing organically. We can grow at a good pace around this month by creating more activities for the community of liquid stakers on NIR protocol, on Ethereum or Aurora. The mpDAO right now have funded 6 proposals distributing over $3,400 around the world on different regions. We precisely ended the mpDAO grants number 4 yesterday that approved 2 proposals more to be funded. So this is something that is very exciting for us, because we are seeing how all the funds from the community are now working for start growing the community around the world. These are the proposals that has been approved. I can mention for you that this one came from Asia, this one came from Europe, this one came from Latin America, Asia. Maybe you can know about these people that is Marmaye Foundation that are doing great things for educating around Web3. So we have approved all these proposals, and well, the amount is still there. Looking for making a multi-chain governance, we have the metapool improvement proposal number 3 that is currently implementing, and I think we are a good timing because we are right now making a change for the governance token that we have on metapool. We are right now thinking on well, no, not thinking. We are right now. We have approved the first. We have 2 things approved. The first thing is to have a deprecation of the current meta token, and that's by something that well, maybe you all are aware of that. On 2021, when we launched meta token, seems like a cool name, like something new, something that wasn't used. And 3 months later, we received news from Facebook, and well, all the world received the news from Facebook to start using the name of Meta for the company. And well, now you can find a lot of shitcoins that are running on the ecosystem that uses Meta as part of their name, and you can have also stocks that uses Meta, and well, it's not right now. It's not as simple to run a token that is being called Meta to talk about liquid staking, and we decided with this to deprecate Meta and to pass a freeze period that will last for the coming 6 months. That will allow us to enable the new governance token that is called mpDAO token. The mpDAO token is the mpDAO token will take the position that is currently having Meta token for the governance of Metapool based on this improvement proposal. And well, the last day where a transfer of Meta will be allowed will be on November 15th. So that's something that you should have in mind, because if you have Meta tokens or you are right now using Meta tokens, you should remove all these tokens from any place that you could have it. And you have 2 options. The first one is to swap the tokens for another token on the ecosystem. And the second one, and I will promote this idea, lock your Meta tokens and get votes for those Meta tokens. Getting votes for the Meta tokens, you will receive a vote to earn rewards, and you will be able to redeem your votes for mpDAO tokens on the coming year. Our road on voting power, we started the first voting period on June, and we are tracking monthly at the end of every month how are things happening. As you can see, our road on voting power it's linear, but it is growing at a good speed right now. Yesterday I reviewed this information, and we have close to 90 million on voting power that are currently available for voting on the mpDAO. We have global presence through our ambassadors. This is like our community power that allows us to have presence on different regions over the world. For the past month of October, we had a total of 27 ambassadors worldwide that help us to have presence on different regions. As you can see, we have people from everywhere, but basically we are focusing on emerging markets where, as mentioned previously, we are looking to have more presence for the liquid staking solution of Metapool. So far, I want thanks. I don't know how are we on time. Maybe Chloe, you can tell me if we have an extra of time. We can review our site, and I can you
Yeah, for
where
sure.
all these
So,
governance tools are found, or if not.
yeah, first of all, thank you
Okay,
so much
so
for the
perfect.
presentation.
Well,
We can definitely take a bit of time. So most people like we take an hour for the class, but I usually tell people that like we can stay on if people have the time to listen to more. So if people have questions or if you have more to share, that's definitely fine. We can kind of stay on for a bit. I actually had one question. Is Metapool DAO planning on speaking to like Ref Finance to make like an upgrade for the tokens that might be left there? Or like what about tokens that are in smart contracts, I guess, for the meta upgrade?
right now, even we are starting a marketing campaign. We are promoting and asking the people to remove all the meta from any smart contract that is on the ecosystem. This means if you have tokens on a liquidity pool, if you have, I can show to you. We have in our blog some option for you. If you have tokens on Aurora, you should bridge those tokens back to the NIR protocol and swap for another token, or lock for getting both. This basically means that.
So there's no plans on like working with like Ref Finance DAO and having them upgrade the tokens on their protocol in their smart contract? But I feel like, for example, if people have DAO own liquidity with Meta,
sorry, can you repeat?
The question was if Metapool DAO was thinking about speaking with Ref Finance and having them potentially just do a smart contract upgrade to, or having them do a call to, exchange all the meta for an upgrade to their contracts. That would be unreasonable.
No, because basically, meta. The idea of meta is to look for an obsolescence. So what we are going to do is to deprecate all the transfers of meta. We are going to remove these tokens. We are going to take out of this liquidity. So. And the other thing that I think it's important to mention is that the new mpDAO token will be launched on Ethereum. So the first thing that we are going to take over is the launchment of mpDAO token on Ethereum, and later the bridge, and later of that, the exchange of meta token that will be basically for the people that lock their tokens for voting. So. No, the main idea is to remove any liquidity that could be around for meta token, deprecate all the liquidity pools. Basically making meta useless for the ecosystem, and this in order to prepare for the launch of the mpDAO token.
Perfect, makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, so any of you have any other question? So what I want to show to you is basically what is currently right now the process of voting. We can go directly and very simple and make very simple this. You have the metapool site when you have the different options. The first one that you can find are around the stake of tokens on metapool. This includes the stake of NIR tokens, the stake of lockup accounts for NIR accounts, and the liquidity provided for providing liquidity on the Fason stake of metapool. And next came the vote options. These vote options allow people to start participating on the governance of the mpDAO, and you can find here the options that we have available. The first one are my votes. This option of my votes shows to you which is the amount of voting power that you have, or the amount of vote that you have. Here tells you which is the amount that you have available, the amount that you have in use, the total amount that you have, and the meta lock that you have. Something that I want to point is that votes on the governance of mpDAO are not consumed. So you basically can take any of these voting positions that you have and unvote, and you will have again these votes available for you to use it in another voting period, or voting for a validator, or changing your votes from one validator to another. We have the option for add voting power. Right now I think I don't have meta tokens, but you have I think that I can simulate that I have meta token. Yeah. In case you can get amount of votes that is based on the amount of time that you're locking your tokens. You can choose between 30 to 300 days, and this gives you a maximum multiplier 5 by locking on 300 days. So basically, with the same amount of tokens, you can get a bigger amount of votes, and getting a bigger amount of votes, you can get more voting rewards. The important thing about this is that this will also be deprecated on November 15th. So if you have plans to vote and get earning rewards for the coming months until the first half of the coming year, you should take your meta and participate and locking your tokens right now. So this will be the last day to start receiving tokens. We have the grants of metapool. As you can see, yesterday we finished the 4th mpDAO grants, and here you can find all the proposals that were posted during this period. I can share to you also the docs of how these are approved, because this basically is not approved by the ones that takes the first place. This is a mechanism that is based on getting the amount that you are requesting for making your proposals, and is not depending on the position that you have on the mpDAO grants. Basically, you can be on the first place and not be funded, and you can be on the 4th place and be funded. This depends on the amount that you're requesting and the amount of votes that you are getting. We have the votes for validators. Here even you can find the current number of validators that are active on the protocol, and you can find all the validators that are receiving delegation from metapool. So the same you can see here, there are some validators that are receiving extra delegations by participating on the governance. So you can basically take any of these validators. For example, you can vote, you can apply the amount of vote that you want, and based on that, we are distributing the 25% of the TVL that we have on NIR, that is currently is more than 40 million tokens on NIR protocol. So we are making this more democratic, so people can choose which are the validators that they want to support. And the 4th one is the metapool improvement proposals. Metapool improvement proposals allows us to change the protocol and take decisions on what they are doing. On what we are doing on metapool. Hey, this is new. Got it. Well, the on-chain voting for metapool improvement proposal is a tool that is happening full on-chain. All this information is being provided on-chain for the discussion of the community. And we have some important things that you should know. The first thing is for making a proposal, you need to have at least 200,000 voting power on your account. So you are able to do a proposal on MPIPs. The quorum, so that for your proposal to be valid, this means that once the discussion is over and you are interested to start a voting period for this metapool improvement proposal, you will have to reach at least 10 million votes to be valid. And well, also here mentioned the number of voters that we have based on the number of voting power holders. I will move to show you one of the metapool improvement proposals that we have. As you can see, this was the first metapool improvement proposal that even I made, and this have like an open discussion where everyone explained why they were pros, cons, and who was for this proposal. So basically, we started the discussion thinking from moving from 15 to 20%, but later the community tell like, hey, it's the same for moving bigger. So we decided to edit this proposal to be 25%. Once that we decided, we took a snap. Well, it started the voting period, and starting the voting period, this tool took a snapshot of all the voters that were currently available on metapool, and the voting period started. So the required quorum at that time was close to 4 million on voting power. The total votes was close to 19 millions that were used for this proposal, and the final results was 4 abstain and against. And you can see here a transparent list of which was the sense of the people voting for this proposal. In fact, I abstain my vote for keeping neutral from this from this voting. As you can see, the major amount, more than against, there was a big amount of abstain, just from the core team to tell that we are not going to push one sense or another. And well, so far is this. We are evolving. It's not easy, as you can see. It's not easy as you can think on creating a DAO. Creating a governance is hard. Creating a governance is working with people, is working with technology, is working with monetary resources, is working with rules, and rules are not always perfect, and more than that, are always being adjusted over the time. And we had a lot of lessons from what we have learned for this creation of the mpDAO. We still have things that are pending to be solved, like which is the best method to do a governance for multi-chain scheme. We had first ideas or first drafts of how this should work. The first step that we did was moving the governance tokens to Ethereum, where from Ethereum we can move to other chains and keep the governance there. We have in our plans for the coming months is integration of blockchain operating system for making this interoperability that allow us to use to make a multi-chain governance that we can implement tools for governance in other chains more than Ethereum or NIR. Always looking for more chains to be used, and you have a simple a single point of access to all this governance, and that will be through Box. And what I mean for things that are still pending to resolve is also that how all of this will work, because we have the first draft, we have the first plans, we have the idea of how we can do this for a multi-chain governance, but there is always a doubt and that you find when we're creating new things, that is how all of this will work and how will of this will be adopted by the community and by the users of Metapool. And that's where I think that we will have the biggest amount of learnings around creating governance. So it is being, and it will be an interesting journey. Now you have like all this kind of alpha leaks that we have for the governance of Metapool. Surely you can ask us if you have any other question around this. And as always, we're inviting all the community to participate with us. We are very open to any idea that can have the community. In fact, we are just the core team, and the core team is promoting and pushing and putting everything, including tools and infrastructure and technology, for making this real. But the one that is driving this governance is the community. So became part of our community, became part of the mpDAO community, and you will be able to know more about what is happening and how can you participate on liquid staking. No more than that. I think that's it from my side. Do you have any question that I can help you to solve?
Perfect. No, thank you very much. We had one question from the chat, just specifically about, so one of our students and contributors, Hannah, they just finished actually one of the articles, well, they're the first article finished from the metapool initiative. And so they received 20,000 meta tokens. And so they're asking, what's the recommendation for next steps? Should they lock up those tokens to start voting, and will that automatically kind of transfer them? Should they do something else? Kind of I know you said some messaging will come out soon about it, but I think just for now, what's the suggestion?
Yeah, the main suggestion is lock your tokens in metapool. That's the suggestion that is coming from the core team. Obviously, you can do other things with these tokens. You can swap them, or you can, or even you can keep them if you want. This will be deprecated. But our suggestion is lock your tokens in metapool. This allows you to be the first ones on receive mpDAO tokens once the reading mechanism starts the next year. And also in the mid period, you will be able to receive governance rewards. So even when meta token will be deprecated, all the tools that we mentioned previously will be still able to be used with the votes that are currently allocated. So your votes will not change. You will only not be able to redeem for any token, because meta token will no longer exist. But you will still be able to vote for grants. You will be able to vote for validators. You will be still able to vote on the metapool improvement proposals. And doing this, you will still receive governance rewards. So, and later you will receive mpDAO tokens. So it's like the best. If you ask me directly, for me the best idea is to lock your tokens on mpDAO on metapool. But also you have another kind of option that is like swapping this for another token in the ecosystem that can be also useful for you. The only thing is that if you have these tokens, for example, in Aurora, the best recommendation that I can give to you is take back those tokens to NEAR protocol and do any of these that you have as options for NEAR protocol. Why? Because even if the token is still transferable on Aurora, in NEAR protocol, that is the main network that is giving utility to Meta, will be useless. So for this, will be also useless on Aurora. So take back all these tokens from Aurora, put on NEAR protocol, and my recommendation is to lock these tokens and get votes.
If you have any meta tokens lying around, do take them. Try out the voting platform, and that would be a great way to keep them safe. Thank you again, Alan, for the presentation and for walking us through not only what metapool kind of does and why they're doing it, but also kind of what the plans are for the future and what's kind of happening coming up.